Okay, hey everybody. Welcome back to 5 Minute Sickle Cell Lessons. This is lesson 5, in which we will be discussing the phases of the sickle cell pain crises. I just wanted to look at this before we start studying the various uh, different kinds of pain crises that sickle cell patients can deal with, both acute, transitional, and chronic. This chart was done in 1995. Yeah, 95. But it is still, it, it's, I would say it is a fair guide um, in terms of what happens during a severe sickle cell crisis. And basically, expands over approximately, I'd say, 12 to 14 days. And it gives, like I said, it doesn't just give you a physical description of what the patient might be going through, but it gives a mental and emotional description, as well as it speaks to what is happening in terms of, blood tests and things of that nature happening within the body and pain scale. So let's get into it. It's not very complicated. Like I said, I do think it's a good beginner's guide, and I think that it allows for a lot of questions to be asked if the person studying it really wants to understand the pain crisis and what the patient goes through. That's a hint to nurses, doctors, hospitalists. Okay, so first we have the prodromal phase. And in the prodromal phase, you feel numbness and uh, aches, pains, things of that nature. The prodromal phase actually begins on the chart prior to day 1, as you can see. So you see a 1, a -1, a -2. So it really is prior to day 1, because the pain scale is under 2. And basically, what it's saying is the patient isn't in a lot of pain, but they know what's coming. Okay. The initial phase, now we're in day 1 to day 3. Pain scale goes from anywhere from 2 all the way to 10. During this phase, you will see a drop in your hemoglobin. You will see uh, your white blood count rise. Probably you'll see changes in the retic count, and mentally and emotionally. You will experience anxiety and possibly even fear from medical PTSD and um, problems, just basically from past problems of dealing with ER personnel. So between the prodromal phase and the initial phase, your pain can go from 0 all the way to 10, and due to the patient's previous experiences with ER staff, they're going to hold out as long as possible before they even go in and get help. The fact that this is on a chart from 1995 and shit still has not changed, dude, that should tell us something. Moving on to the established phase. The established phase is now the height of the crisis, okay? So that goes from day 3 all the way to day 7. It caps out on the pain scale, as you can see, at 10. And basically what you see is a raised white count still, possible temperature, joint effusion, signs of inflammation. You're probably going to have severe pain, joint pain, maybe even organ pain, depending on the type of crisis you're dealing with. And unfortunately, you are also going to be battling, most likely, with depression caused by the fear and anxiety of dealing with problems with hospital personnel. It's really sad that this is on the chart, but it is unfortunately between day 5 and 7, if you're even lucky enough to get that far, that's when your medications suddenly are changed on you. That's when you're being told it's time for you to leave. Things can be taken care of in outpatient. Um, as an advocate, I can tell you that it is during the established phase that I get the most phone calls, and it is also during the established phase that I am battling the hardest to keep my patients in hospital and fighting for them to get proper care. So to have a chart that openly acknowledges that between days 3 and 7, and the patient capping out on 10 on the pain chart, that they're falling into depression and having problems with the hospital personnel, it just really shows you how far we have to go for patient care. And not just with sickle cell. I mean, I think this is with all chronic patients, but sickle cell specifically, that this is the time where they're playing games with your pain meds, they're playing games with your health, they're playing games with your life. And then the final phase is called the resolving phase. And basically, that's day 7 through 10. You see your pain scale going from 9 back down to about 2. Hemoglobin is returning to normal. White blood count is returning to normal. Retake count. Everything is basically resolving and going back to where it's supposed to be. And the patient is sent home and left to outpatient care, and of course going back to their regular activities. As I said, it's not a overly complicated chart. It's not one that I would just say is like gospel, but I do think that it's a good start, and I appreciate that it not only deals with the physical aspects of a crisis, but the mental, the emotional, and then also what's going on with us in terms of blood counts and whatnot. If you have any questions, hit me up. And remember, sickle cell is your superpower.